Hello, welcome to Web of Stories. My name is Melinda. I know you've seen a lot of videos of me looking like this, but if my nose is red, it's because, as usual, my nose started itching when I started filming. I don't know what's up with that. Anyway, I'm here doing my July book haul revisit, and I'm going to tell you right now, it's a long one. So, yeah, I did take out the NetGalley books that I had not read at the time that I did my breakup with NetGalley, so those are not counted, but I do have at least one NetGalley book in here that I did read. And I will also say, just heads up, I haven't read a large portion of these. So let's see. The first book I'm going to talk about is, I'm also just going to put the pictures up here because my books are already out of control. I need to do something with my keeper shelf, and I need another shelf is what I need. But I need another bookshelf, but there's piles. It's already a mess. I don't want to get into it. So I'm just going to put pictures here. And I'm going to do this in the order that I brought these into my house. So the first one is The Connellys of County Down by Tracey Lange. And I really enjoyed this book. I think it's still there. I don't know if I kept it or not. I did really enjoy it. I think it was like an A or an A+ book for me. It's a family story about Irish-American family. Tracey Lange is what I call today's Ed Burns. So Ed Burns, who's an actor and a writer and a director in the 90s, did a lot of books about a lot of movies sort of based on his Irish-American family. And yeah, it's the same sort of thing. And the first one was We Are the Brennans, which I also really enjoyed. So that was a very enjoyable one. I was excited to read it. And I did read it pretty quickly. I have the dates here that I read it. Yeah, I read it within the month, so that's good. The next book I brought in was a NetGalley book, and it's The Girl's Last Cry by Alison Belsham, which is the second of her Lexi Bennett books. I had to think about that for a second. So I really enjoy this series. Really enjoy it. And if you've seen videos in the past, I had to make a Blackwell's order, although they are in Kindle Unlimited, which I do not have. I would rather pay more money and get it from Blackwell's to get the third one, because NetGalley and I are Splitsville. But yes, this is like a procedural mystery thriller book. This one was a little harder than the other ones because there are elements of teen suicide in it, which was hard to read, but it was still really well done. Okay. Then from the little pop-up library store, I picked up Prodigal Summer by Barbara Kingsolver, because I must read Barbara Kingsolver, and I haven't read that one. So there it is. It's on my shelf still, haven't read it. Not sure when I will read it. Then I do know kind of when I will read this. From Blackwell's, because I refuse to pay $35 for a hardcover of this book when I can get a paperback of it for less than $12, including shipping. From Blackwell's, I ordered Demon Copperhead. Now, I have not read this yet, and I am not going to read it until 2025. Sometimes with hype and books, I have to be careful. I have to read it early on before the hype really kicks up, or I have to wait till the hype has really died down. I lucked out with James. James was really my one exception lately, because I didn't get it as soon as I could have. But the hype, that one started way before the book came out. But anyway, there's so much hype around Demon Copperhead that I know it would probably impact my reading at this point. So I'm giving it another year, but I will be reading it in 2025 in paperback that I paid less than $12 for. And then I have a couple books that I picked up at Powell's. The first is The Sisters Brothers by Patrick DeWitt, which I had purchased with plans to read this June on the Range, and I didn't. Just totally realized I was going to read this. I didn't. So maybe next June I'll read it. Patrick DeWitt is a Canadian author, but he actually lives here in Portland. So he's local-ish. And I've heard really good things about the Sisters Brothers. I think it was made into a movie. Is that right? I don't know. I haven't seen it, if that's the case. So maybe next June. After that, I have a horror novel that came recommended to me from Willow. Willow Talks Books, I think is the channel now. It was Books and Bow. And that is Hex by Thomas Olde Heuvelt. I actually she had a video with 3 that she recommended, and I got all 3 with plans to read all 3 during spooky season. And this was just the one that didn't fit in. So I'm just holding it until I'll read it this fall. But this is, I'm always interested, like, when this happens. This is a book written by a non-American author. He is Dutch, but it's set in the United States. And I'm always interested to read books like that. Because there are so many books that are set in other countries written by Americans that Americans just kind of take. That's what life is like there. Because, you know, we have egos and we think we're the best. But I think it's good to read books that are set in America about Americans from people who aren't American and see how that works. I'm thinking, you know what? A lot of people deal with this on the other way. So we need to deal with it sometimes too. But I am looking forward to this one. It is a witch story. So I'll read that this fall. Then I have 5 Agatha Christie books that are her Mary Westmacott books. I had some of these in like old like trade papers that I knew I wasn't going to be able to read them. The pages were yellowed. Some of the books were falling apart. I was like, nope. So these are hard to find in the United States, actually, but I got them from Blackwell's. And they are, I think this is all 5 of them. I think there's only 5. I'll have to double check. The Rose and the Yew Tree, Absent in the Spring, The Burden, Giant's Bread, and Unfinished Portrait. All of which, yeah, I have those. They're all sitting on my shelf. Haven't read them yet, but I will. Because I'm going to read, I'm going to be a Christie completist. So I'm going to read them eventually. And now I have ones that sort of match, except one of them is in trade paperback size. And I'm like kind of not happy about that, but oh well. And then finally we have one I have read, which is Know My Name by Chanel Miller. I just read that this month. It was a 5-star book for me, and I talk about it a lot in other videos, so I won't talk about it here, but there's one that I've read. Follow this up in the same, so I got Know My Name from Bookshop, and from the same Bookshop order, I got 4 more Agatha Christie's. I have 5 Little Pigs, which I will be reading this year. 1 to Buckle My Shoe, which I will actually be reading in July. Evil Under the Sun. Oh, I only got 3 more, excuse me. Only got 3 more. And Evil Under the Sun, which I might be reading this year. I have to check. I should go look at my pile. But yeah, at least 2 of those are getting read this year because I'm kind of doing it in sort of kind of chronological. There's kids screaming and the cat is meowing, and I was very confused as to which was which. Anyway, so I have those Agatha Christie's. They will be read. It's okay. And then for my library sale, I got the Poisonwood Bible. Library, it was the Bookshop. It's not the big library sale. But yes, because I got to read Barbara Kingsolver. Got to be like the cool kids. And then I have one of the other books that were on that list that I got from Willow, which is The Gingerbread Man by Joanna Corrance. This one was a real hit with me, and I actually have kept this one. This is a great horror novel for people who don't really like horror because it's not gory and it's not especially scary. It's just very unsettling and creepy. And it works for both spooky season and holiday reading. So anytime in the last quarter of the year is an appropriate time if you read seasonally for this book. And I have been recommending this one quite a bit. And it's great because it's one of those books that you think is something that it isn't, or it isn't something that you think it is, or however it works out. Once you've read the book, you know what's going on and you're like, oh, great book. Highly recommend it. Okay, and then I have The Wintringham Mystery by Anthony Berkeley. And this came from bookshop.org. And this is one I believe that Jennifer at Jennifer Loves Books told me about. And this is, if I'm thinking there's another one this might be. I swear I'm allergic to making YouTube videos. Anyway, The Wintringham Mystery. I believe this is the one that was a mystery that not even Agatha Christie could solve. So I'm very excited to read this. It's on my TBR shelf. It's one of those that's going to come up when it comes up sort of thing. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I heard about that from Jennifer Loves Books. And then I have one that is over on my immediate TBR, and that's Farthing by Jo Walton. This is alternate history. So the conceit here is that Germany won World War II, and it's set, I believe, in the 50s in Nazi England. So yeah, I like alternative history books. I actually really do. I wish there were more of them. I'm a little wary of alternate history books where the conceit is something really big, like Germany won the Civil War. That would be really quite the conceit if Germany won the Civil War. Germany won World War II. I like the ones that are based on like kind of like a smaller conceit, like Rodham, where it is Hillary didn't marry Bill, or there is a trilogy where I like the first 3 books, and yes, I said what I said. The Tudors, where Anne Boleyn, the child that she miscarried that led to her eventual death, didn't miscarry and was a healthy boy. I like those. I'm always I have read at least one other book where it was a case of the Nazis won, which I liked. It just didn't have the same effect on me. So we'll see how this one goes. And then I have Crow Lake by Mary Lawson. I read her, I can't remember the name of it, her more recent book, and really loved it. So I wanted to read more Mary Lawson, and I heard Crow Lake was quite good. Now I have the 3rd book in that list of 3 that came from Willow. And this is The Whistling by Rebecca Netley. This is it's an atmospheric horror movie, so it's really great to read on a rainy, windy night. I want to say it's set on an island, but there's lots of like atmosphere things. It was good. I mean, I thought the Gingerbread Man was much stronger, but I still enjoyed The Whistling. I do think I handed that one off to my nieces, so I don't have it anymore. Next, I have 2 books that I pulled out of a little free library, which I don't do very often, but I did for these 2 books. It looks like I pulled them out on the same day. The first one is Yinka, Where is Your Husband by Lizzie Damalola Blackburn. I have heard good things about this book, and I think it was shortlisted for something. I don't know. This is a Book of the Month edition. I did not pick it up for Book of the Month. Otherwise, why would I pull it out of a little free library? But I did. What I have is a Book of the Month edition. So I'll get to that eventually. And then I have A Patchwork Planet by Anne Tyler. And I realized I don't think I've ever read Anne Tyler. So this was there and I picked it up. We'll see when I get to it. Okay, I swear, by the time I get to the next video I'm filming today, my nose is going to be bright red because it's just itchy. I keep tissues and blowing it. But anyway, I'm sure you needed to know that. So the next book is one of those things where I pre-ordered it because I couldn't wait to read it, and I haven't read it yet. But I want to read it, and that is The Weaver and the Witch by Genevieve Gornichek. Her previous book, A Witch's Heart, which is a retelling of the Ragnarok story through the eyes of Loki's wife, was fantastic. It's weird, but that's because the source material is weird. You have the Greeks just going off and having sex with anything. But let me tell you, the Norse, they were doing some pretty wild things. I believe this is also based a little bit on Norse mythology. I'm not sure, but I really want to read it, and I haven't yet. It was a pre-order. Okay. And then I have 2 books that I got from Kobo. The first is Cannery Row by John Steinbeck. I've talked about this before in last month's because I had a couple John Steinbecks in my last book haul revisit. This was also on sale at Kobo. I really liked East of Eden and now therefore need to own all of John Steinbeck's books. Apparently not read them, just own them. But yeah, I have Cannery Row waiting for whenever I get to it. And then I have The Turquoise Shop by Frances Crane, which I believe is I think the reason I have this one is that it's a Golden Age mystery that the She Done It book club was going to read, and then I got it and then didn't read it. I think that's the case, but it's there. I have The Turquoise Shop. And then I have an order of 2 books from Blackwell's, and that's it. And then I'm at the bottom of my list. Look at that. And I'm not sure where I heard about either one of these, but they both sound good. One is The Murder Game by Tom Hindle. Mystery? I'm assuming. Murder makes me think mystery. Have not read it. It's on my shelf. And then The Flames by Sophie Haydock, which I'm pretty sure is historical fiction. I should read that. It's on my shelf. Then I know what it is. So there it is. There's my revisit. And let me do the numbers here. 1 second while I scratch my nose with the numbers. Okay. Counted it up. I have 28 books in my July 2023 haul, and I have read 5 of them. That's not good. That's something I need to work on. But as I said, a couple of them I have plans to read. So when I revisit this next year, which again, next year I will not be including the books that I have already read. I'm going to take those out. So we'll just look at the ones I haven't read to see how I'm doing. But there should be more read next year. But anyway, there's my revisit. Let's see. I'll give you a little sneak peek on, oh boy. Yeah, August is, wait. I don't know if August is long because all of a sudden I was in, August probably isn't as long as July, but it's not great. It's not like June 2024, which I just filmed and was short. Anyway. Thank you very much for putting up with me and my constant cuts so I can go scratch my nose because, again, allergic to booktube apparently. Let me know. Do you have any books that have just been sitting on your shelves for a long time that you haven't read yet? But make me not feel so bad about myself. Thank you so much. Like, subscribe, join my Discord, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.